Testing,
Hello?
testing.
Hello?
Okay, there you are.
Hello? Howdy.
Howdy doody.
Do do.
Are we signing into WAP or
No,
okay?
we can. Sorry, just my immediate reaction.
I don't think we can.
Okay, guys. Let's say no more. Good morning, San Diego.
Let's give everybody a couple minutes to join, guys, and we'll kick it off. Okay. Not a whole lot to discuss here, so I'm just gonna give everybody a couple more minutes to join. Okay, so there was data out before we get started here. There was recently a data that just dropped for Tesla deliveries, Q2 deliveries, beat expectations.
Hey, Matei, you haven't posted the
Watch list.
watch list yet.
Yep, it's just sitting there. Oh, I'll hit send. Usually that's good. That helps. Hitting send. All right, here it is.
All right, now that it's out, J Money, you can kick it off whenever you feel like it. If you don't feel like it, I'll take the wheel and just do some crazy shit.
Ready to close my computer.
Yeah, I can go over it before I close my broker. Yeah, so we're still in the same range. Basically, I see the range as 74.50 to 75.25, and we kind of made the move down into that range overnight. We held, and now we're back up near 75.25 after NFP data. So it's clearly a range in kind of 7,500 in the middle of that. And the reaction to NFP was positive. We're rejecting 75.25, and now we're sitting right around 7,500, which I would consider the pivot in the middle of the range. So, the gamma positioning for today is positive, supportive, the same thing we've had all week. But again, it does require supports to hold. So, the most bullish scenario would be hold 7,500, work back up to 75.25, and then try to clear there or continuation up. I do think that'll be a fairly big task today. We'll see if they can do it. Higher time frame, that 75.25 is a big spot in that downtrend line from all-time highs is up there also. If you fail 7,500 early in the session, you can fade into 74.80 and down to the bottom of the range and yesterday's lows at 74.50. So that's what I've got. I'm flat. I'm not super interested in doing a whole lot today. The best trade would be if we were to see the bottom of the range, ideally sweep yesterday's low and try to be long in that 74.50 area again. Be the best setup for me.
All right. Thank you, Jay, to the money. Matei, you're up, sir. Anything that you're liking it there?
No.
Okay,
Want me
moving
to
on.
go on?
No,
I
it's
do.
it's fine. I mean, sometimes it's
Yeah.
okay for the day to kind of unfold. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
you
will just mention MU because I have an active position in it, and then we can move on. Um, it was gapping lower, and now we're pushing higher on NFP. So the one thing that is interesting is RSI got pretty bearish on the pop. they could reset a bit. But just watch that 1036. Might get a bit choppy, but if we lose that Friday low, we could see at 996, which was, I believe, last week's low that put in attempted or put in a failed breakdown on the NFP data. So just set alerts, watch that. If we get back below 1,000, I could speed up, but not really interested in the range. That's it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, good stuff, man. All right, so let's take a look at a few of the plays. But before we get started with that, my attitude going into today, which is the last day of this week, it's a shortened week due to 4th of July on Saturday. We're off tomorrow. Expectation is that it's going to be lighter volume after the first hour, hour and a half, two. And then as we get into the afternoon, it's just going to be maybe a little slower, and then maybe some end of day move maybe on so basically just look into trading first few hours. I'll likely be off live a little bit more today than normally. We've been on live quite heavily like throughout the week. But if we have an active trade, I'll be around. If not, just kind of we'll monitor the markets. There's no reason to really push it. We've had a really fantastic week so far. Had a few really good trades, so don't want to give it back today. So make sure you're kind of cognizant of the environment that we're in. Doesn't mean that there aren't any opportunities. At the moment, I don't see anything great, but that could change very quickly. Going into the watch list today, this morning, that we put together, it's a fairly slim one. Just starting with SpaceX here, SPCX. 145 puts below 147. Now 147 is huge. So I know we're we're a lot higher up than that 147. Like there's a lot of work to be done, but with lower volume, I'd be curious to see what happens here. If it gets tested, we'll take a shot at it. But it just shows you that it was really tricky putting together watches today. But this is a really good like downside trade to look for. Eli Lilly. Looking for that 1200. So the daily looks good. And yesterday was significant because we held that previous all-time high that we broke out of last week around that 1183. So we tested it yesterday. We held it close above. We're about 10 points above that 1183. Break back above 1200. We could start seeing a nice little move towards the top of this, what looks to me at least like a bull flag on the daily. So there's nice little strength here in this name. And also there's noticing there's a bit of like XLV looks good on the daily as well. So healthcare, as we know, so going into this week, we called out the strength and some sectors. XLV has been on a tear into this week, and now it's starting to kind of firm up a little bit here. So the sell-off in healthcare has not been huge. It's been a little bit of a breather. So Eli Lilly is one of those that usually lead to the upside. I'll be watching this one. Bitcoin, pretty strong this morning. So looking at my watch list and all the indices here, you could clearly see that there's some real nice strength, relative strength in crypto, which is noticeable, right, compared to some of the other kind of areas of the market. But Hood Hood. Just looking for a continuation play here. Technically, yes, there was a huge move above the 200-day moving average. There's still a lot of momentum here going into the morning here. So above 112, I'll be watching 112, 113 for a breakup play. If we dip, I would watch that 107 or yesterday's highs around 110. 107 is a level that I have on my charts from a while ago. So 107, 110 or breakup play. Hood looks really strong. I think this one could set up a little bit of an intraday play as well. Just switching to Tesla, we talked about Tesla doing really well in terms of deliveries. We saw a nice little pop right off the numbers into that 440 area. Yesterday we talked about resistance being 436, 442. We got to that 436, and then we're back below yesterday's highs. So this is more of a wait and see. And let's see how it develops. As long as we're holding 425 423 or so. I'll be watching this to regain some momentum and push higher. It's been the play throughout the entire week leading into these delivery numbers. Tesla, more of a tactical play throughout the day that we have to watch. Throwing in PLTR here. I really have not traded PLTR in a long, long time. It's starting to act a little differently. What I like about this one is that ever since we broke lower, starting December of last year, we saw a nice little dip into that 125 from almost 200. We bounced up and down off of that 125 a couple times, and then recently, so June 18 or so, we broke that 125. We saw a real nice move down to 108. We're back above 125. So if we see another 125 test, I would like that to hold. If it holds, it's a bit of a failed breakdown on the daily. It's just an accumulation pattern that we're seeing here on the daily that could push us towards those 165s or so, which is the top of this range that we were in before breaking 125 just a few days ago. So PLTR, big picture, software is firming up a bit. PLTR is doing what it's doing on the daily. I think it had an upgrade as well. I know CEO was out yesterday talking a bunch, catching a little bit of positive vibes as well. So PLTR for today, I would watch that 125 back test if it holds, go long. If it just gaps and goes above 130, could be a nice little scalp too. So PLTR starting to kind of be interesting enough for me to watch at least. Nvidia was strong yesterday. I would caveat this whole kind of segment that Nvidia has been really tricky to trade lately, and we're still in a fairly strong downside trending kind of price action here. But that 200 today could be something to watch if we break it. Low volume, new quarter. Yesterday there were some positive moves, some relative strengths. Aside from that end of day kind of sell off, it was holding really strongly. So break above 200 is what we were watching there on Nvidia. More of a scalp. All right, so that's all me and Mate. That's all what we got here. Sarang, are you on? Yes. What are you looking at?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. So I think, to be honest, we have a couple of day one setup, but not good pre-market structure. So Tesla, I think the delivery numbers, I couldn't look at it, but muted reaction so far. So generally, I have seen day two works really nice on Tesla. So day one is like stop at the both of these ends. So what I'm watching on the Tesla, if we see some kind of an intraday pattern on Tesla, so I'm interested to trade it. Otherwise, nothing looks good at open. So second stock I'm watching uh, is Hood. Actually, the Robin Hood has some announcement. Like I think they have something in London Crypto Exchange. So they are expanding in 120 countries or so. So that's the reason the stock is gapping up. So on a daily time frame, 112, 113 area is also looks nice on food. So that's the only catalyst trade which has like a higher and lower time frame. So if we clear 112, we could see a move up to 117, 118, I would say. So, so the catalyst I graded maybe 6 out of 10. Not a strong catalyst, but yeah, it's still six great catalyst. And next one, I think PLTR also has a news actually. Palantir extends the rally on NVIDIA AI partnership, and they got some US Army NGC2 foundry selection. This is also a category of six grade catalyst out of 10. So these are PLTR also I'm watching, like not at the open maybe. Probably I will look for some intraday pattern to form, and I will looking to play maybe 130 above 132. So 126, 125, 126 area must hold, and reclaim of this 132 area. So we'll watch how we react at open. Maybe intraday pattern will work on the PLTR. And lastly, yeah, Yeah, that's all I think. NBIS and Meta and Core View all are these day two setup, but they are far from the trigger. So if we see some kind of intraday pattern, looks nice. So NBIS actually 233 area is very defined level on day two. So yesterday we capped slightly below that, but it hold. So we'll be watching below that 233. So it's a day two setup actually. But yeah, we'll watch intraday pattern on NBS as well.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. All right. So, guys, post some names you want us to take a look at. Happy to do so. We do have some time here. Wow, you guys are on it today. All right, so let's take a look at Circle first. Oh my. Why are you looking at Circle, CJ? Ah, I really have nothing to say about Circle. Just in a heavy trending, heavy downtrend. We might get a snap back to the 9 around 72. Watch that 50 to hold. If that fails, I would look for a failed breakdown. We're trying to hold the low from November of 2025. We're back to IPO day low around that 64. That must hold, otherwise we will get that 50. So critical level here. That's all I have to say about it, which was a little more than I thought actually initially. Coin. Yeah, I mean, I would watch Coin because of the strength in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been a harder kind of trade. It's been, quicker pops and, quick kind of rejections. And I know you guys love Coin. In terms of the technicals, Coin, I would just trade this like very, very tactically throughout the day. Like if there's momentum, try to get in between that and catch a few, maybe scalps. But in terms of like big picture Coin, there's really nothing here for me. And MSDR is even like worse for me because I just don't see it. Um, it really had a great day yesterday, so technically you could look for continuation above 100. So I would watch, MSDR, Hood, Circle, Coin, all of those on like Bitcoin crypto strength, I guess. Apple I like a little bit more. It's really come back really nicely since we tested 273. It is right below that 300. If you draw a trend line from the all-time high down, we're testing it right there. So I do think that the next time we break 300, 302, we could see all-time highs. So I think
What was
there's
the
some
ticker
nice
for this one?
Apple, AA.
Apple. Okay.
I do like the relative strength of some of these Max 7 names that have been holding up really nicely. So I would watch this one a little bit more closely. I just don't know if it's a trade today, but it certainly looks a bit better now than what it did maybe a week and a half or so ago. We have 8 minutes to go, so I'm just going to keep going here a few more minutes. BE. So, I mean, you know what I'm going to say. Best above 300 here, break of 320 for all-time highs. Big picture, we're sitting in a range here, 320 to 250 or so. We're just oscillating here. If you look back a little bit, you see that, beginning of 2026, we're doing something similar, bounce area, and then bang, new all-time highs, and we start squeezing higher. So just give this time. It's a bit of a harder trade when we're in this mode, balance mode. But if it starts trending to the upside, it's a lot easier to trade BE. So I still like this stock, but it's a harder read for me right now for today. Now, holding 100, I don't hate it. 105 is important. Break above 110, we could see a nice little push towards 118 or so. Just kind of approximations in terms of levels here. Rabbit, ABT. bit slower. Daily is kind of stair stepping to the upside. Only takes one ugly candle to the downside, and we're back lower here. If you look at what we did between January of this year to kind of end of February, we were doing something similar, and then we just broke lower. So yeah, I don't see this. Dell, I don't hate. I think Dell is, kind of accumulating here. It's just holding up. It's been a trickier kind of day trade. Big picture, daily, weekly, monthly looks pretty good. I do like how we keep holding that 400 area. There's a gap below that has failed to fill ever since we gapped up on earnings. And I would imagine that if we start breaking 440, 445, we could see those all-time highs. This is one of those preferred stocks by the president. So occasionally we've seen some headlines that push this one higher. I would watch this. I don't know if you guys saw, but he trades a lot. Trump. He had like thousands of trades 2025. So maybe he wants to
Trump
join.
he's got some algos running.
Yeah.
80
I'm sure he's
trades a
happy
day is
about-
insane. So.
Yeah. 80 exactly. Yeah, that's insane. And yeah, maybe he wants to join us becoming an analyst or something. IBM here.
Junior analyst. You mean junior analyst?
I was waiting for somebody. Yes, junior analyst. If you don't mind mentoring the president, Sarang, I think you could learn a thing or two. But all right, it's a bit more lighthearted today, guys. We have a lot of time, and I think not a whole lot is going on here. The day before day off. IBM. Yeah, we tested that 295, 296. I think we talked about this yesterday. I talked about that break above 296, 300 test, back above 300 would be preferred. Now that we're gapping down here, I would just look for a red to green. Strength and software. This one could definitely test yesterday's highs. That could be an idea. Another kind of ugly scenario would be a break of 274, 200-day fail. Would see a little bit of an ugly kind of unwind there, but I don't see that with IBM. I think it's a strong stock, but we'll see. I'm gonna take a minute here to just kind of get my stuff in order here before the open.
Yeah, I'm
Matei,
gonna drop off the screen share. I got a boogie, but
Alright.
I'll be watching the paint dry from my pocket for a little bit. And also, a little later, I'll be doing probably around 2 o'clock. I do a weekly review, talk about some things this week. If anybody's around wants to join, I was gonna do it in the accelerator, but since it's open house, we'll just do that on live. Ask them if you're not around, it's fine, but so everybody knows.
see you, Matei. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. So now that he's dropped off, I will share my screen. We kick it off, guys. We've been kind of running this open house for the entirety of this week. I don't think we've ever done that, and so I hope you guys are enjoying all the free content and that you're learning something, maybe making some money. We do have 3 more minutes. I would want to kind of hint towards a very exciting thing. We're giving away 35% off the first month of the Pro membership. 35% off your first month. Maybe you can drop that, John, or whomever. We can drop it in the commentary for people to go and check it out. There will be a link there that you can kind of like use. I think the code is open35, all capital open35. You get 35% off your first month with us if you enjoyed our company. We would appreciate yours for the rest of the month, I guess. And if not, it's been fun. It's all good. All right, so I'm just focusing here before the opening. Not a whole lot I'm excited about. fantastic end of day trade yesterday, 500%. That was a lot of fun. We're right at 7,500 here. Jam, any last any last kind of words here before we open in terms of SPX, or everything's still kind of what we talked about?
It's still the same. I would just say to be cautious below 7,500 today. I know we're used to trend day up every day this week, but it's fairly thin. And unless we get some heavy positive gamma above us to act as the magnet, I think you could see reversion below 7,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have the magnet that we've had the other days this week that acts to pull us up right now. That could change, but we don't have that yet.
If something changes, just if you don't mind, just calling it out for us.
Yep, will do. Right, so far opening above 7,500, holding it on a back test, and now pushing higher. 7,525 is the big ceiling today. You have to clear that for continuation higher.
you guys hear me? Hello? Oh my god. All right. So I've been talking since freaking forever. I guess my mic stuff working. Sorry guys, I was being really active here. Calling out Hood Tesla 418. Also posting in the commentary, but freaking Discord, man. That Tesla, that 425 break into 418, 200 day. Now we're filling 200 day. Be careful with Tesla. We're back to that 415, 416 area. PLTR backtesting PM highs here. Something to watch. I think we just hit ATR on PLTR though. Apple 300 guys. Low volume. This one could break. You're starting to get back to that area of the chart where we were when that keynote dropped. So you might start seeing some squeezies there. Yeah, Tesla. So Apple above 300 guys, you might start seeing shorts get squeezed to death. SPX 7525, there's positioning there. That could be resistance here, okay? It also kind of plays very nicely with the look above yesterday's highs and fail on SPX. Jay, would you short this 25?
I can't see options depth at the moment. I don't. It might be scalpable, but I don't really love the short. We already rejected it once in pre-market, but I can't see the live data right now. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I agree.
it looks like a big call spread got added. So I definitely would not short it.
Mhm.
So
65, yeah.
that's the magnet that I was talking about. We didn't have that before the open. So now we have that positive gamma above us that will act to help pull us higher. So shorts of that node don't work as well when there's a magnet above us that's pulling us higher. Probably still rejects a little bit, but I don't know how tradable it is.
Yeah. I'm just watching here, guys. Not really interested in much. Hood, very strong today, guys. Yeah. Had it not been for that positioning, I would have loved like a look above and fail on SPX maybe, but just low volume. It's pretty spazzy here, the price action.
Yeah, above 25, it's fairly thin. It'll be
Yeah.
pulled towards that 60.
Apple 300 break, 302.64 would be next. Now we're back to last week's highs, guys, around 75.30. It's been our target. If we break above that, this could keep going towards that 60 that JM just mentioned. Tesla short was one of the better plays today.
Meta is also looks nice actually day to pair.
Hmm.
Best Monkey Watch one. They also had a delivery numbers. It's nice breakout on daily.
Hmm. SPX breaking above last week's highs here.
Looks like crowd stock got split today.
Apple hitting target here, guys, above 300. see if the breakthrough of 2 here. Tesla, no real bid in sight here. Real nice long off of that 7,500. Quick move. I'm just watching here, guys. Back above last week's highs here, so in talks with Samsung to manufacture custom AI chips. ES near 7,600.
Yeah, SPX is going towards that magnet, 75.60. So just like yesterday, the trend day up into the magnet, then potential stall, possible rejection at that point. So we'll see what happens if we get there. But it's the same setup we've had almost every day this week. That position being added changed everything after the open. $75.25 support. Ideally, you hold $75.25 on a back test.
Nvidia turning a little bit here on that news.
job, Tesla. That is something.
Yeah, that was a nice short.
Yeah, just that. I mean, it's up 17%, almost in a straight line into delivery.
Mhm.
So you got the move in before delivery came out. So it's never a great setup for a continuation.
SPX testing last week's highs here. All right, Tesla 412, 4680 below that, and then 400 below that. Microsoft looks good. It just needs above yesterday's highs. That 390 is tricky. 390, 391. See Microsoft, a little bit of an inside day here so far. Slower here already. Nvidia's looking strong though. Apple looking strong. See what Nvidia does here. Nvidia 200 test. QQPM high. What are you guys watching? Anybody's watching anything specifically? bit choppy here. Nice long off of 7,500 SPX, but view to 60. Yeah, Netflix looks good. Acting really nice. Held PM high. Netflix is acting really strong. Microsoft looks strong, wants to test that PM high, and then yesterday's high is not too far off of that. Netflix back nice. Eli Lilly, really nice back to that 1215 area. Apple, really easy actually, 300 break today. Just kind of ran through it. All right, so QQQ tested PM high, rejecting it there. SPX still above last week's highs. 7,530, that's what I'm watching. It's just the landscape doesn't kind of allow for a look above and fail. I do like that idea, but it's hard today. Supportive throughout.
Yeah, you need to see
You know,
75.25 fail, and you could get that move. Fairly thin below 75.25.
yeah.
Especially if that spread closes out above us and then fails 25.
Yeah, we could see 7,500 very easily today. Like if that breaks.
Yeah.
So that's your 25 long. If that fails, you're out. 30 could be also looked at for short last week's highs. But if this holds 25 holds back above 30 and we test at 40, if that breaks, we can see 60, 65. Apple's still very, very strong. Let's see 25 plus 10. Microsoft's look really strong here, guys. Let's see if it does move. Anybody caught that long off 25, guys? JM mentioned it. I called it out live. Nice little scalp SPX. Apple. Damn, Apple. Shorts are like just scrambling there. We're back above that keynote day low around 301 or so. So you'll get that kind of aggressive move. Tesla's not coming back. Needs above 1820, in my opinion. It's trying to hold that 410 area, which we talked. Microsoft breaking. Meta relatively weak. Below 593, you can't go long there, or 600 even. 50-day on Tesla's 4.7, also important level. For me, if we get to 60, 65, that could be short, unless things change here. But Soft accelerating to the upside. Microsoft breaking out. Watch 391 above. As your Tesla new low testing 50-day here, down 4% on the day. $390 could be bottom today on Tesla. Back below previous week high here. Have a faster move here. $25.25, break of 25. Oh, we are gonna dive. You like that, guys? Yeah, let's see if we can get below 20 here. I would like 20 because it's yesterday's highs. Would have looked above and failed previous week high and previous day high. Look above and fail. If Apple starts like giving back some profits here, it could get ugly. But for now, let's see what happens. Needs to break below 25. They keep trying to save it. Here's your second attempt to dip below previous week high, 75.30, and recover. Last time we moved towards that 40. Watch and see if we can get a lower high here. breaks off new highs. Apple not really doing much. Breaks off that 390 here. Test. Starting to see positioning above closing a bit here, JM, and then they're stacking some resistance at 35.40.
Yeah, 40. 40
Mhm.
might be the ceiling.
QQQ starting to test lows here. QQQ retracing off of that PM high here. SPX testing yesterday's highs. Below that, guys, and I think you can see minus 20 very fast. Maybe even testing yesterday's 7480 area. Yesterday's highs, guys, test. Yesterday's highs, test. There is the break. There is the break. That is the fast move I was talking about, guys. Just technically perfect, okay? It was just the gamma positioning was a little weird. But then once they started closing this spread above, they started layering some resistance, 35, 40, so on. That was a good sign. We're getting liquidation break here, guys. Look above and fail is playing out here. If you guys were listening, I've been kind of narrating this entire thing. Really, really amazing. Really nice. right, so we're back below yesterday's highs. Any back test of yesterday's highs, bears are going to try to step in and keep price below. If they recover yesterday's highs, we could see a push higher, but really a nice short there. $75.25 now is just, yeah, go ahead.
It's also a failed breakout of that trend line. I don't know where your trend line is, but
Yep. It is
nice combination.
that blue line going diagonally.
I also have a blue line going diagonally. Yeah, that's a pretty nice combo.
Yeah. We'll see what they do here. I think any test of that 25 area now, 25.30, if we get a bounce, could be shortable. Apple is a short squeeze, guys, okay? Apple is a short squeeze. I called that out earlier. Once we got back above 300, we did it with such ease. Might be shorting this back test here. 7,500 is what I'm showing. I just want to see if we can get to 25, and then I'll kind of assess.
Yeah, 25 should be a rejection. You don't really want to see it above that again, but
Just got filled there. 7,500. Stop will be above last week's highs. The reason why I'm sizing smaller in this is because it is it's a holiday, it's lighter. It could whip up and down and stuff, so I'm just kind of sizing down today, okay? I do like this. This is almost like a grade B trade for me. And I just
and
exited some here.
yeah, it's thin below 25 back to 500, and they are trying to put in some support at 500 again.
I know that was quick, but I was calling out the idea, and then we did this live, so just took half just to insulate myself a little bit, and then 25. 25 should be resistance, but if above 30 again, it would be a potential move back up to higher day. So I'm looking at the weekly and the daily chart, guys. So that was a short of yesterday's highs after a failed breakout. Multiple things failed to break out, and then now I'm trying to catch that back test. if we start seeing Apple like just pulling back into the 910, which is right now around 302, sorry, 301, it could have an effect on SPX. Also, QQQ just pushing lower here very quickly. PM lows on Qs are around 719.50. I have a limit at 14, but if I see momentum, I will switch this up. So I'm looking at it here. I just got filled at 14 very quickly. I don't even have time to do it. So I just sold the fourth there. Yeah. So great. So we got a nice little trade here live. Yeah, it was a very fast move on SPX, but you guys gotta it requires a little bit of independence in terms of like listening in and try to execute. I can't click the buttons, but hopefully my commentary was very clear. But yeah, definitely very, very fast, which I'm very happy with because I like to get in and out quickly and just sit and watch. But in terms of the technicals, we're gonna do a little run through of what I've been kind of watching throughout the day, why I was looking at why I was kind of communicating the way I was regarding upside and downside, and yeah, we'll do a little like session like that just because I'm suspecting that it's going to be a little trickier and soon it might get a little slower too. So we'll do a little like educational segment of this live before I go and grab a coffee or something. In terms of best trade today, in my opinion, Tesla, bar none. 425 was very, 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 very easy to see, and you just have to execute. I think I was on mute when I was calling that out 425 break. I wasn't on mute. I was actually sometimes Discord switches the input of the microphones, and for some reason, when it switches to this one particular microphone lately, it just goes mute. But I was not muted. But I'm talking through my headphones now, which seems to be working. All right, so Microsoft hit uh, just tagged that 390.68 first area of resistance. It is a previous all-time high, so that's why I was calling for a potential move to 391. We just hit that area. There's the 391.46. If we're going to be exact here, right above that 390.68, so just 1 point difference there. But I'm anticipating this being potentially the high of the week, unless we see some fun stuff. And Tesla is below 400, guys. As I said, that initial bounce that we saw was not the bottom. It was just very weak price action here. Tesla, they front ran the data, and as you can see on my screen here, which I'm sharing, it's just a clear rejection of that trend line. A little bit of a look above that trend line, and now we're failing. And that trend line just kind of happens to intersect beautifully with that 20-day, which we were talking about. So yeah, Tesla, it's been doing this for over a year now, where it looks good and then it gets slammed. Looks good, gets slammed. Needs news. SPX on the 10-minute here. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. See how they slammed that? Really nice trade so far, guys. Beautiful. Look above and fail on the weekly chart. Attempt to break out of the weekly pennant on SPX, failing. Backtest of yesterday's highs was the entry after we broke below. You have a trend line. You have a look above on the weekly, look above on the daily. You have gamma starting to align. And we caught that beautifully. Holding runners here.
Yeah, there's not much until 80. I wouldn't. Once you have a look above and fail like this, you got to be really cautious on trying to buy the dip. A little bit at 80 and then 74.50.
All right, very nice, guys. We got in at 8. These are trading around 22 or so. I would imagine that the gap fill, if we get it, will be my exit. Because we could see a bounce there. I'm just gonna hold for now. We'll see what happens, but really, really nice move so far. All right, really, really good so far. Thursday, which is a Friday. So feel free to, do what you wish with the rest of your runners here. I am just holding. We did get a nice little push into that 74.90. We are seeing a bit of a bounce to test 7,500. Back above 7,500. Maybe we can test 10. MU back to 1,000 here. Mate's 1,000 puts are in the money here. Nice conviction by Panda. All right, QQQ now might put a failed breakdown. We talked about this move. IWM failing that 301.50 previous all-time high. We put in a new all-time high, and then now back to PM lows. SPX might bounce here. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a stop at 5 on the rest. The mechanical buy-in in Apple is just disgusting. I just posted a picture. Yeah, so orb low is 7,500, cheeky. Good call out. That was a beautiful 111 on SPX. I called it out a second ago. And it was just perfect because the backtest of yesterday's highs was your entry and then actually played out just like perfectly. So I did see a headline for news regarding them telling distributors, I believe, that there will be a foldable phone this year. So I think that might have something to do with it, but not really sure. Wow. That's been a headline for quite a while, BB. It might have something to do with it, but the catalyst I think might be the foldable phone, or to release M7 chip in H1 next year, aimed at heavier AI workloads company speeds generational move amid memory and silicon shortages affecting product timeline. That could be it. All right, so that little push that they're doing here, SPX, they're trying to put in a bit of a tail here. Just caution. It would be a gap fill, Patricia. We're on 80 or so. 80, 75, I think it's a nice little bounce area. I think that they might start like slowing this down a bit. And I think the real play has hatched a bit. Like it was that quick move that we saw. But I think ultimate target would be 80, 75 or so. I just added stop at 5. And yeah, I won't really manage that too much. Tesla, what a piece of crap. Oh, 306, guys. Hold on. Where is all-time high? Are we at all-time high? No, we're not. I should have traded Apple. It's just been such a hard trade lately. So, but yeah, very, very nice move. I think they're doing the right things, but let's see what happens here over the next few weeks. Just light volume, lighter volume, shorter week. We're up quite a lot. If you look at SPX daily, like we haven't really moved in the last few days. So we're just kind of back here. There is a daily trend line that we just rejected on SPX. We looked above and failed. Wouldn't be extremely bearish if SPX decided to do this. Start like this, and then right. And so what's going to be telling now, if we get this pullback, Colin, how shallow is this pullback, right? Is it like this? Or is it like this? Like we test the 9, the 20 day, and then we go, right? Or is it we put a new low here? So I'm not bearish. It's just, there's a lot going on. My guess is that we see a bit of a shallower pullback, jiggy jiggy, bang. Anyways, I guess stepping out for a bit. Gonna go grab some coffee. I'll be right back. Okay. guys, I am back at my desk. So my my exit all out hit at 300%, targeting that 7470, which we talked about could happen. It did happen. Not a whole lot to do here now. I could look for a roll. There is. I don't know, I would lean on JM on reading this gamma landscape here, but there's some good, strong kind of positioning below. Looking at that 7440 potentially. We'll see. Uh, yeah, I called out my SPX entry. I gave a heads up and I entered. Was talking through the entire sequence since the open. All right, so for me, this is simple. It's a 9 on 10 day today to the downside. 74.97. So I'll be rolling 74.90s. Watching that 9 on 10 entry for a roll. I'm in on that 13 flat, pretty much. This could continue towards 7,500. So you might be able to get it 11.50. Mhm. The orb low is right there too. A lot of thing kind of a lot of things aligning for that 7,500. Orb low here, guys. So there, you got a little better entry than I had. As I said, you might have. All right, 9 on 10 here. Come on. $7,500 big magnet, similar to last night. Things building above 7,500. We can move to 7,510, 7,520. If you get above 7,500, I'll consider just cutting this and just preserving premium. Had a really good first trade. I'm willing to take a shot on a roll up, but I don't want to get back too much. All right. If the idea is there, if it's still playing out, I'll take it. But if not, we'll see. This is the first 9 on 10 back test here. Proper one after that big kind of liquidation break that we saw. Alright, so just got filled on that move. Just exited half here, guys. Just exited half. Sorry, just getting the alert in order here. Sorry. Just sent it out. I don't know what's going on. Okay, there. It's a 9 on 10 entry. Moved towards 18 there just after I sold, unfortunately. All right, I'm trying to exit here, guys. All right, just got filled here. Hold the rest. We're back to where we closed yesterday, so I'll take that move. If we go red here, we could start pushing lower. Break the lows 70, we could see 74.50. 70 breaks, we'll see 50.40 could come. Trading a little faster today just because of I think how things could go, but that 9 on 10 entry, beautiful, lined up with Gamma fairly nicely. Kind of front ran Gamma just a bit. We're seeing positioning below us growing and positioning above us decreasing a bit here on this last kind of update that I'm seeing. First bounce area could be 75. Get there. Yeah, positioning below is growing, guys. That 40 is increasing big. We could get to 50. 40 would be low day today, so I don't see that not happening. Could have. Yeah, it's a magnet below. Yeah. 50, 40. 40, 35 is a spread. 45, you can see it bounce. That's the low day. Sorry, 65. Sorry. 65. There we go. All right, now we're getting paid. Now we're getting paid. I could have held a little longer, but it's okay. I like to just keep rolling here. Anybody's been catching SPX puts with me, guys? Any open house people? I think this week must have paid for like a few months of membership. I gotta think that's the case. All right, just got filled here, guys. Another piece just got filled. Another piece just got filled. Another piece. Okay. Just trying to get the alert. There we go. 1 year membership. Let's go, Whack Winter. It's not an easy week, but we did all right. I think team's been pretty sharp, selective, not over trading, considering circumstances, not terrible. Beautiful 9 on 10. We identified as a 9 on 10 day now. And that 9 on 10 entry was pretty prime, right below 500, right below or below 9 on 10 entry. So excellent kind of entry over here. We're gonna talk about the 2 SPX put plays that we took today. We will do like an educational segment here just shortly. If you guys are up for it, there's not a whole lot going on here. I'm suspecting volume will kind of taper off here a bit. So I'll leave that last piece on, okay? Later, Chucky. Well done, man. I'll see you. Have a great long weekend. Positioning above is just deteriorating for now. You have a bit more volume below. 74.40 is not out of the question, but we'll see. We need to break 65. Good job, Yan. 74.40 is building quite significantly here. So I'm just gonna we're up about 100% here. We did call out that secondary entry. I told you might get a better price than I get. We are breaking low a day here. We are getting paid. So let's see if we break lower here, okay? 70 low a day. We're getting 50, 45 or so. They swept low a day here. All right, so I'm not going to manage the rest here. I'm just going to sit on hands here. How about we talk about the SPX plays today? There we go. All right, so to fully understand like what I was looking at, we are going to look at the weekly chart on S&P. And last week we drew this blue line across here. And this blue line across is just the trend line over the last few weeks, where we've been slowly kind of trending lower on the high of weeks, but the lows are very defined. So we're holding the lows, we're kind of rejecting the top, we're trading inside of a bit of a triangle. What I always look for the breaks of previous week highs, previous week lows, for failed breakout or breakdown. And in this instance, coming into today, I was looking for that look above and failed breakout. So that's what I was looking for today. I did not sell immediately into it because of the gamma structure above. So I look at option depth data and have been starting to make some informed decisions through those, in addition to the more like structural analysis that I like to do. So that's the weekly. The daily, see yesterday's highs was right at that trend line around that 75.22, just below previous week high. As SPX is making new lows here. 65 is my bounce area here first, and then we'll see what happens. But there's a lot of magnets below. So there's this thing, look above and fail. It's a bit like it is like failed breakdown where you sweep below and recover and go, where you have players that are long offside, and you could see liquidation of weaker hands. We talked about this concept yesterday into the close, which we also took advantage of. And I was looking for something similar today on the weekly chart. So that's big picture. Now, intraday, we did a really good job of breaking above yesterday's highs around that 22, 25 was an important area. And we started pushing higher. We started seeing positioning above building, and it became quite significant magnet above, we did see some resistance at 40. And so looking at the 10-minute chart, you can see that we gapped up, we pushed through that 2025, we broke above yesterday's highs, and we saw this expansionary candle to the upside. So that's just shorter term buyers stepping in, want to take advantage of this trend line of yesterday's highs, this continuation move. So let's say you're a new buyer at these prices, right? Your hands are going to be very weak, right? Because any break below your position, more likely than not, you're going to let go of that position. You're going to reassess, right? I'm not talking institutional buying. I'm talking, smaller players, weaker players. And so as we broke out, Gamma told us higher. And then things started to shift. We had that position at 60, 65, acting as a magnet. And then that second backtest of 40, that 60, 65 started getting sold. So imagine you have Gamma above here acting as a magnet, and then imagine that magnet getting weaker and weaker. So that's just those, those players are just closing down positions above. So when they start closing down positions, that magnet that was pushing us higher becomes weaker and weaker, and price starts also showing weakness, right? And that weakness happened on that second test of 40, became a little bit of a double top of sorts. Now, throughout this process, I was calling out, look 30, last week's highs, look at yesterday's highs. 30 failed once, they brought it back up, double top 40, back below 30. Once we broke below 30, that 30 to 25, or sorry, 22. So from last week's highs to yesterday's highs was very quick, right? Let me see if I can go into the 1 minute here. You can see this here, right? It started really accelerating on the 1 minute. And once we broke below that 22 last week's highs, yesterday's highs, that trend line breaking at that 20. I remember calling out that 20 is important. 25 is important, but that 20 started showing a potential bounce zone, but that just got smashed, and we saw this big candle lower. So it was a very quick move from like 22 or so to 500, 505. Now my entry was on the back test of yesterday's highs. So if this indeed was a real sell-off, sellers would step in on this mechanical bounce off of the 05, 500 level to maintain the downside pressure, and which they did. So I got in here. I projected this entry to everybody on audio. So I called it out. I was like, I'm interested in looking for a short here, and that entered. Short, very quick move. A little bit of a 1-1-1 play, and so for members, you guys know what that means. We did see that play out perfectly, and then ever since, it's been now a shift in trend, right? And I've talked about this many times, but the yellow dotted line is probably one of the more important, like, I guess, indicators on my chart. And the reason for that is simply, all right, sorry, SPX is testing 74.65, which could potentially put in a bit of a bounce here, but I'm just going to hold this. This is a good spot to take some off if you have yet. If we break 65, guys, we can see a minus 20 quickly here. I think that 40 is strong. Sorry, 25. So 9 on 10 for everybody that knows is 9 moving average on the 10-minute chart. Once you break it, it's a trend shift. I call it flipping the 9, flipping the 9 on 10 flip. And we did get that with this big kind of push lower here, and then we have yet to recover and close above it. You can see that we've been riding it. So when I call out to everybody, like, I think it's the 9 on 10 down day, meaning that 9 on 10 could be shorted pretty much on every test unless that fails, right? And look at that. This was a nice little re-entry here, which I took because it lined up with a few different things. So I rolled on that 9 on 10 entry around 7,500, and there we go. So those are two trades. It wasn't rushed trades. I wasn't FOMO trading. It was methodical. It's part of the playbook. It's part of how we trade. And just tagging that 65 here, which is my secondary target. 74.90 are in the money here pretty nicely. Let's see how far we can get those. Anybody has any questions regarding what I just kind of ran through? I know it was a lot, but I think it's a lot of the same for everybody that's part of this room. Yeah, it's going to get close today. I think we've extended this enough, like 2 days beyond what we're actually going to do. You can always sign up. I think there's been plenty of trades that have paid for this month. I feel like if you want to study things, I think just take the time here into the close and do that. All right, 65 could have been a long there, guys. Told you it's a bounce area, potential bounce area. And 75 could be a rejection zone for another entry. Look for the 9 on 10. Yeah, guys, this is. All right, guys, you have me here for a few more minutes. Anybody has any questions? I might be done for the day. I think we're good here. Wow, Tesla, look at Tesla, guys. Oh boy. Pushing lower here. Yeah, Tesla got shafted today. $400, nice little short. Ace, I don't really trade those, so I can't give you any feedback. I'm sorry. I think Matei could chime in if he's around, but yeah, definitely some support here at 60 guys, and then it could get pretty ugly below. LRCX. LRCX has been like really strong, just in terms of like relative strength, and it just that is ugly, dude. This is a falling knife, okay? So let me see. Let me see. Who asked about LRCX? Guanron, nice short. Somebody asked about LRCX. Anyways, yeah, hard. It's a falling knife here. So support at 345. Back to the bottom of this bounce area. Yeah, I would be cautious. I don't like what SMH is doing. It's a clear lower high on the daily. All right, guys, I'm taking a small break. I will turn off the stream. I'll turn it back on when I'm back. All right. Good job today.